inspired. I'm inspired.
What's happening, guys? My name is Suman Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today I'm speaking about astral projection. How do you astral project? I think a lot of people overcomplicate this, okay? They confuse the heck out of you by talking about astral projection. I think the best way that I would describe it is entering the world of your imagination, okay? Imagine, coming from the word mage, an image. When you imagine something, you are going into a different dimension, a different realm. Some people call it quantum, some people call it 5D, some people call it, the ethereal realms, whatever you want to call it, it's just a label, it's just a word. What matters is your personal experience with that world. Now, I've successfully astral projected maybe several times, and the biggest thing that I've noticed is I allow the images that I'm creating for myself to really come through and allow myself to actually experience those images, because a lot of the times we don't allow ourselves to experience certain images. We actually push them away, or we think that they're being this is too weird, or maybe it's getting too dark. One protective visualization that you can do when you're astral projecting is this idea of having a silver cord, like a bungee cord, attached to you, like around your solar plexus area or on your back, Mengami point, you would say. And just imagine that, that is stretchy and very stringy, and it strings you along, and obviously have some protection with you when you go into the astral realms, okay? Because it can be dangerous. You can meet all sorts of weird, people and entities and observations and ideas can come through, and it can get very overwhelming. So let's say you're met with a very dark force when you're astral projecting. The thing that you want to notice is, okay, do I have protection? Do I have my guides with me? Do I have my silver cord wrapped around me tightly so I can pull that bungee back into my current body very quickly, right? So the process is you lie down and you really allow yourself to feel that sense of leaving your body, okay? If you've had an out-of-body experience, you know what this feels like, okay? You understand consciously what this feels like to be able to go into another portal or a dimension that maybe you're a little bit unfamiliar with, okay? So understand what the word projection means, okay? So if you think of the word projection, it's like a projector, right? Projecting a movie, that movie that you're creating in your mind is crisp. It's 4K quality. It's not like you're doing it and it's like 360p, quality. You want to really get as vivid as you can using your imagination in that sense, okay? So when you can actually start to manage this feeling of getting vivid, getting clear in your own mind, when you're tapped into your body, you'll feel much more back into this current physical realm. When you forget about your body, when you start dissociating, that's when you start to astral project or have an out-of-body experience in that sense. So this is about really tapping into the lens of the mind and tapping out of the body. So that means your body's got to be super relaxed. Okay, to astral project, your body's got to be super relaxed, because if you have tension within your body, it's going to keep you stuck, it's going to keep you awake, you're going to experience all that tension, and it's going to bring you back to the physical realm very fast. So a lot of people are astral projecting, they're on the precipice of it, right? They're just right on the edge of doing it, but they can't really do it very successfully. And my advice to you is let go of the fear of the astral realms, okay? Let go of the fear that is there, that is keeping you stuck in that particular state of mind, of like, man, something bad is going to happen, I don't know if this is going to work. All that doubt is actually self-doubt, which is creeping up, which a lot of self-doubt is also your inner child, right? Coming up and telling you, look, maybe intuitively you need to prep for this a little bit more, you need to do something differently, you need to add a different approach to this, something along those lines, right? So in the words of psychology, what is projection in terms of psychology, right? Projection in terms of psychology is basically this idea that, you do something that is like a mirror, and so you take it out on somebody else, right? Which is very different from displacement. As an example, I'm saying, let's say you cheat on somebody, not saying that you have, but, in a sense, let's say you cheat on somebody and you blame the person, blame your partner at the time of her cheating on you instead, right? So that would be an example of projection, in a sense, where you don't want to deal with the guilt and the shame and the idea of what you did was wrong, and so you take it out on somebody else to feel better about yourself, in a sense, to soothe you, to heal you, to not take responsibility, in a sense, to blame others. Similarly, let's say displacement is a concept of, like, let's say your boss yells at you at work, you go home and you take it out on your kids, as an example, because they're subordinate to you, in a sense. So authority attacked you, and you take that attack energy and you displace it, or you transfer it onto your kids, who are, again, you have much more power over them, right? Because kids are very suggestible. And so you feel this sense of power or dominance in that situation. It makes you feel good in terms of your ego. And also that attack energy needs to be expressed in some way, right? It's like when something bad happens to us, we want to find a way to express ourselves through that, and that happens through projection and displacement at times. I think the greatest artists with this emotion game are people and artists who are able to take that negative experience and find the joy in it, right? I know a lot of people who've gone through a lot of different types of traumas, and they told me that trauma taught them the most about their life. They used that pain, they transmuted it, and they found a way to use it for their own betterment. So this is what I want you to do when it comes down to astral projection. Even though it says projection, it's not necessarily the same projection, obviously, as in psychology, but I'm trying to make the link here as to you really taking the experiences from the astral realms and really being able to shape them, to have them mold your world, okay, very currently. In the sense of the astral realms, we can't be sure of anything. We can't really know what is happening, or what is going on, or what is really, helping us or dissuading us, in a sense. So what I want you to do is, I want you to practice actually giving yourself different visualizations of places you want to go to, okay? So like, let's say you want to travel to Atlantis in your astral projection, leave your astral body. Imagine that you're actually leaving, going outside into space, right, into space, and then find a way to get from space to zoom into a particular different universe, even different planet, wherever you want to go to, okay? So let's say you want to go to Atlantis, you figure out, scope in your mind where that is, and do some research, right, before actually visiting these realms of where you think this is, or do some research about the location that you're visiting, and then just allow the images to take over. Okay, for instance, I once successfully did an astral projection where I imagined I was a tiger in the Amazon rainforest, okay? So what did I imagine? I felt my claws just seeping into the ground with the dirt, and the leaves were just touching my fur, and very, very vivid, right? It's like using all of your senses to experience this. Feeling the roar in my belly, like, coming out, like, really, using my shoulders and like moving through the forest and gazing at all the other animals that I see in the distance, and all these birds that started fluttering out of the trees. And just, you let yourself go in that vivid imagination realm. You remember when you used to daydream as a child? That's like 40% of astral projection right there, okay? So essentially, that's the world and the realm of your subconscious mind, okay? Now, there is a collective unconscious too. So anything that anybody has ever imagined is going to this huge hive mind, in a sense. And you want to understand that. That means that you can tap into energies that, like Detective Pikachu. If you want to go to that world, you can go to that world. Or, Naruto, or wherever world you want to go to, you can allow yourself to go and enter that world. You can go to Ed, Edd, and Eddy world. and create your own character there. So it's really about tapping into that frequency and that energy. It's like tuning a radio to where you want to go to, set the intention beforehand, tell yourself that you're going to dream, you're going to astral project. If you are a good lucid dreamer, you're also going to be good at astral projecting. Practice lucid dreaming first before you start astral projecting, because when you know that you're conscious in the dream realm, then you can start to take power over your own reality, and oftentimes, you won't get those scary experiences like sleep paralysis. I know a lot of people get those as well. So when you are in the REM sleep, your body actually paralyzes itself. So that's why you experience that state of being in that sleep paralysis, and you see all of these different things. You're still in the dream realm, so you might be seeing different things. A lot of times they can be scary beings or scary creatures too. Now, we can't know for sure what these are. A lot of people taking entheogens and things like that have talked about clockwork elves and seeing aliens of sorts and interdimensional communication with different forms and entities. So we can't be sure exactly what this is. We can only take our own accounts and our experiences and learn from the experiences of others. Trusting in that, trusting in the data and the science that's going on. Obviously, not to get too wrapped up in that ethereal realm, but I have a very scientific mind. I want to look at this as what is exactly happening, and maybe in another video I'll talk about the science of this whole thing and how it works. This is how I understand it. This is how I've experienced it. I've talked with different, creatures, entities, cartoons, all sorts of different forms, thought forms, you could say. Communicate with different thought forms, and it does help. Imagine talking to Bruce Lee as you astral project in another dimension somewhere. That's cool. I want to learn from that. I want to allow myself to see what comes up there. And a lot of the times it is spiced. So the spices of the astral projection have little instances of our own subconscious mind that it might show us. So don't get worried about that. That's completely normal. If you see a flower from your childhood, in the bottom portion of the dream or the astral projection, completely just go with it, enjoy yourself, keep your silver cord attached to you, and bring yourself back when you can. So this has been the video. Hope you have an incredible day today. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. See you next time.